prevalent.
Leo Varadkar defended his leadership of Fine Gael after another TD said they won't be contesting the next election. John Paul Phelan confirmed he won't seek re-election. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar is defending his party's performance in the polls.
I find it extraordinary that so many people in the media and maybe even outside the media tend to put so much into one opinion poll which is not consistent with all the others.
Former US President Bill Clinton says a government is needed in Northern Ireland to deal with the serious problems faced there. He was addressing a conference marking the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, speaking alongside Taoiseach Leo Varadkar and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. It's 7:02.
News Talk weather.
Thanks to Ryanair. Back your Derby winner live in Epsom with Ryanair's daily low-fare flights to Luton, Gatwick or Stansted.
Dry and sunny tomorrow with highest temperatures of 11 to 14 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette Labs. Get the ultimate shave or your money back. Neon Night Edition available now.
This is News Talk.
Welcome along, coming at you on a Wednesday evening. So Keith Wood and Rory O'Connor are on the way. Wednesday night rugby starts at 8 o'clock as usual. Meanwhile, it's another Champions League evening ahead of us. So Mr. Kenny Cunningham has invited himself along for the evening. Kenny, hello. That's true.
Is that true?
You texted me and said, I'll see you Wednesday.
Texted you?
Yeah.
Joe, you're betraying confidences now. You're betraying confidences.
I didn't know that was private.
Yeah. We keep it simple though. There's no...
How are you?
Yeah, we don't flower it up like, how's it going, how's the family, blah, blah, blah.
No.
Are you in? Yeah, right. Done. See you Wednesday.
Yeah, good to catch up. Richie McCormack, hello to you.
Evening, gents. How are you?
Very well, very well. So, Champions League continuing apace. Been described, Kenny, as the most disappointing quarter-final stages of the Champions League in nigh on a decade. We're not getting any great comebacks, no great drama. It's just trundling along.
Yeah, the Napoli game... decent enough last night. They missed a penalty late on, didn't they? The Georgian boy missed a penalty. If they had a score, that could have been pretty tasty. That was close enough.
Decent enough. Blowing my socks off
just saying. It was only a goal, innit? But yeah, the game last night. Funny enough, I thought Chelsea played well first half of his players, because I watched the game Saturday against Brighton and they really struggled out of sorts, and yeah, I feared from a little bit going into the game last night. But they made a game. They played well first half. I thought setup was good. And yeah, who knows? Had a chance to get the opening goal, didn't they, the first half? And I still feel though it's a bit of a stretch. If they had got that first goal, well, the probability is Madrid still would have found those two goals maybe at some point during the second half. So,
did you see Thiago Silva's interview?
No.
Of Chelsea. He is basically saying this is a complete mess. We've even had to get bigger dressing rooms because we can't fit our first team squad in our dressing room. We're all. I was
going to say, my big car. We can't fit our cars into the car park there. The Lamborghinis, not enough room for the Lamborghinis.
That too. We can't even get a dressing room that is the right size at this stage.
That's a bit weak, though. I've got to be honest with you. I know what you think, Rich. Like, if that's it, if that's the extent, I thought Thiago was going to say about the transfer policy and the direction of the club, but you know, I've got a squeeze next to the fella alongside me in the dressing room. I've got to give up some of my personal space. Is a bit weak.
He's not saying that. Literally, the dressing room issue is.
That's what you
issue.
said. He said
he's illustrating the point that the squad
Rich,
is just far too big.
What did you hear? The Joe said there.
Rich, help me out.
Thiago's moan.
It did sound vaguely like a spatial issue, but I get where Thiago is coming from.
Do you think he was trying to illustrate a point, perhaps?
I don't think all 38 players or whatever were in the dressing room ahead of kickoff last night, Kenny. To Joe's point there, I think to save his arse there. But there is an issue. Like we mentioned it last night on the show when I was doing the team news. Like there's always one player in that Chelsea starting 11 where you go, I haven't thought of him in a while. And he went through their bench last night, and there's players there, and there's players not even involved in the matchday squads that are, you know, worthy of going into first teams elsewhere. Maybe not Champions League teams, but certainly, you know, top league teams, wherever that may be. And there's just too many of them. It's like it's a hodgepodge of a squad. There's no Didier Drogba's quotes about there being no class. We had who do we have in the show talking about it last week? Basically saying that in all the days of Roman Abramovich and for all the chopping and changing he did a manager, there was a through line in terms of recruitment, and there was a straight line that they were sticking to in terms of the players they were bringing in that would suit what they saw as the club being. This time round, it's like we'll buy him. Oh, Arsenal are interested in him, we'll gazump them and buy him. It's
I'm not too sure. I understand what you're saying. The broader point, you're right, in terms of the recruitment, the numbers that have come in. For me, that was the biggest issue for Potter. I don't know if we spoke about it before. Just managing those numbers, not difficult. They made problems for him in that respect. Should be more of a drip feed for me in terms of these players. Would have made it a lot easier for Potter, for me, to manage the kind of dressing room in general. If that's the kind of broader point you're alluding to at the start, I think that's fine. I don't quite buy into this hodgepodge. They don't know what they're doing. They're just grabbing players left, right and centre. It's madness here. There's no direction, no sense to what they're doing. That's too far of a stretch. Because for me, there's a clear vision in terms of what they're trying to do, in terms of recruiting some of the best young available talent around the world and bringing. But does
getting João Felix in on a loan deal for 6 months when there's no obligation to buy, when they don't need any more players in that particular position?
Yeah, individually.
Does that speak to?
Yeah, I think individually you can chip away at it, but fundamentally, if you look at the profile of those players who he's brought in terms of Fofana, Badia, Shaley, Mudryk, Fernandez, the other Fofana, they're all like 18, 19, 20, 21 years of age. They're the best young talent around Europe. Does that mean they're going to develop into the world-class players? Maybe not. But I think that was the idea, bringing in a coach like Potter, who's kind of track record of developing players. Saw that at Brighton, Rich, didn't you, in terms of the group you had down there individually. They all improved underneath his tutelage at Brighton, although it took a bit of time, I'll give you that. So I think that's, for me, that's the kind of vision. There's a vision there. I can't look at that and think. I don't look at that and think, well, what the hell are they trying to do here? It makes no sense.
They had to change the dressing room because it was too tight. Again, imagine the disruption that would have caused. What was the most cramped dressing room in the Premier League? The old Anfield was small.
Oh, there was a few cracker jacks.
I couldn't believe how bad the Anfield dressing room was 10 years ago when I got to get a look at it.
I remember going up to Rotherham and we couldn't change there. The kit man came back to the hotel a few hours before and said, look, forget it. Going in there, there was an old school sauna. They put a sauna in there, taking up half the room, the dressing room. You could only go in groups of 5 to get changed. So we got changed on the bus. We got changed on the bus and came in literally and put our boots on and went out. So I mean, that'd be championship style. There was plenty of them around back in the day, but. I mean, I just think it's weak. It's all part of the experience. This was part of the challenge, getting there and dealing with all these.
I'm not looking for excuses.
Obviously Thiago Silva's looking for excuses.
I just want you to take us behind the curtain. What was the worst dressing room in Premier League level?
Oh, Premier League. Oh, that's changed now, Joe. When I played
in your day,
I'm trying to think. That would have been the old. It would have been the old stadiums, wouldn't it? Maybe the Dell going down to Southampton.
So, I mean, are we talking just cramped and wooden benches and miserable? We have to be a level above that.
They'd be small enough. No, it'd be small enough. Yeah, the lads would be standing up. The lads who maybe the substitutes lads go out on the pitch and have a walk around. Just let the lads, the first 11, get changed and then in you come. Yeah, but that was just part and parcel. It was generally accepted. There's no moaning.
Oh, listen, absolutely. And did they all have the big baths that you all pile into?
Oh, not going to be starting with the big baths. Communal baths.
Everyone having a beer.
They're coming back, Rich. They're coming back. I went into the Aviva. The Aviva. Went into the Aviva first time a couple of years ago. Was it when I went in there? And massive.
They do, but they have showers and they have a huge bath as well.
I must have spoken about this before. That first communal bath thing when I went to Millwall.
I'd say they had a nice communal bath, did they?
But this was general after training, Rich. The kitman's responsibility when you went down to train, he'd start the bath. You got to get the bath right, the temperature. Big pressure on the kitman.
Would you put bubble bath in ever?
So all the lads. So listen, I was never in for us because I was booting around the place half the training. Kitty in the candy shop didn't want to come off the training pitch, which was a massive mistake on my part because when I got back in, 25, 30 hairy arse lads had already been in the bath ahead of you. I think you can I don't have to describe exactly what was waiting for me when we got in there. So it was always the case. The knack was what?
Were there no such thing as a shower back then?
Yeah, but the lads ideally should have showered and then jumped in. But the lads are like coming off all mudded up, way straight in, steaming hot bath. Nobody's going into the shower first. So all of them went. So by the time you came in, all sorts of algae swimming on the top of that water. So it was a skill in itself. So you couldn't wait to pull the tap and drain all the bath was too big. You'd be there for like 2 hours waiting for your bath. So the skill was to unplug the bath and put the hot water on at the same time. And as it kind of bit of a dropped out, you'd get a little bit. So that was it. You had to settle for that. The good thing was when you arrived in off the training pitch an hour after everybody had left, you had the whole thing to yourself. You felt like a king.
And would opposition teams ever turn off the hot water in a dressing room if you're the away team? They make sure that Kenny and the lads at the coach
I don't remember too much of that. It's very rare to have the communal in the actual football the stadiums. Actually, that was more so the training facilities. Don't remember too many of them now and there because that is a big old size. Those things, yeah. So yeah, the good old days, the old communal baths.
Yeah, because you'd often see shots of winning teams and all the lads in the bath, cans of beer.
Yeah, champagne, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Well, I used it as I got a bit older. To be honest with you, I needed to stretch before games. I literally need to get into the bath. We all have our different things, don't we, to loosen my body up so I could actually stretch. I used to stretch quite a bit in the changing room before I went out onto the pitch. So maybe communal bath would have been out trying to fill that thing up before the game. So that's when the individual, the facilities start to improve. Dressing rooms, away dressing rooms. You'd have 3 or 4 separate baths in there. So that used to do me a treat.
What was the best dressing room? Arsenal and the Marble Halls?
Oh, Arsenal, but not for the reasons that you've said. Arsenal was the first dressing room I went into underfloor heating.
Oh, nice.
Underfloor heating, Rich.
The luxury.
Unbelievable. So from the days of Lansdowne Road, taking off your shoes, your trainers, we used to arrive at Lansdowne Road. The first thing everybody did, it was like being on a holiday in Spain, you threw your towel on the ground in Lansdowne Road because the concrete floor, it was freezing, it was biting cold. So your towel went down. You used to hop from towel to towel around the Lansdowne. This is what I'm talking about.
That made it harder stuff than that. No?
But Arsenal was the exact opposite. Undersoil heating, tile floor, undersoil heating. Oh.
You were probably lying on it, were you?
Oh, I loved it.
That's nice.
Loved it. Class. The Highbury class.
That was a touch of class. Where did the marble go? Was it just that initial hallway that you'd go into? Everyone used to talk about the bloody marble hallways.
Yeah, you walked up the steps, didn't you? Walked up the steps, the big door, and marble floor. I think that extended into like I said, the dressing room.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was lovely. That I must admit, I love that stadium.
Touch of class.
Yeah. I mean that. I mean, the Emirates, it ticks a lot of boxes, but yeah, you can't hold the torch.
Oh no, Highbury was architecture. It's a pity. Is the exterior fully gone? I know the apartments are there now. Have they left?
They've kept listed. I think. Yeah. That entrance to the front. Yeah, it's only a small thing. Yeah, but even that, I suppose. But the pitch itself, the pitch was immaculate. Joe, the playing surface.
Oh, I know.
Now, even back then, a bit of a slope, a slight little bit of a slope down
towards one goal.
Yeah, ever so slightly. Yeah, because there was still a few of them around at the time, wasn't there? Oxford, remember Oxford, Rich? Slopey pitches, come on, what have you got? Oxford, the Manor Ground, the Dell, Rich, that's sloped into the corner. Bit of a slope. Massive slope.
You played there,
Kenny, altitude. Yeah. You're coming from altitude in the den.
You're talking to Rich here like he was playing with you at centre half there. He wasn't there.
I respect Rich has got bit of knowledge. No,
but the 2D flattens it out.
Don't be talking Rich down, Joe.
Rich, here's a question for you. If we're talking about Highbury being listed, that front facade.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do something about Old Trafford in the next couple of years. Is the best thing to do at Old Trafford just to steamroll the thing and go from scratch out of the Emirates, or will they have to keep the facade in some shape or form?
See, nothing stands out for me though. I haven't been there in a long time. Old Trafford. Can you remember anything stick in your mind? The outside of Old Trafford.
No, not really. And it's kind of like a shed material around most of it.
Yeah. There's that one corner. Remember that famous picture of Don Revie escorting Gilesy out of Old Trafford on his way to Leeds, where I think there was some signage up around there. But by and large, it's a fairly modern modern in the overall sense construction. I don't think. You look at it and you're like, there's not much there that you'd salvage, really, is it? It's not nothing that goes back to the 1800s that you'd really go out of your way to take. Yeah,
not much nostalgia there.
Steamroll it, we're saying so.
Are they going to shift it? Are they going to move literally same dimensions where the pitch is at the moment? Are they going to try and move? They've a lot of land around there, isn't
they? They have a lot of land around there.
I remember the car coming in there. There's loads of room around the back.
I presume they own all that land, do they? car parks
I
there.
think they did. Haven't they bought a lot of that over the years? I heard they were pinching
they have,
bits,
yeah.
this, that, and maybe for this kind of eventuality.
Okay. Well, then they have to just steamroll it, and they have to look at Spurs' stadium and say that's the future.
Well, it's a bit like Bowsrich, isn't it? Potentially, you know better than me. They're looking
that's
to
gonna
swivel
happen,
that.
yeah.
They're going to swivel that, aren't they? Now, I know it's
Yeah,
the
they're
same
going to turn
site.
it 90 degrees.
Yeah, but it's weird, isn't it? Do you think? Even just swiveling.
Like, I find it weird. Even looking at the plans today, Dublin City Council put out the plans for Dalymount, the prospective plans, and it was like still trying to get your head around the pitch being turned. You're like, no, the goal's in the wrong place there. Stop.
But I'll tell you what I do like, Rich. Are they still talking about the two terracing behind the goals?
Yeah.
That's going to be tasty, Joe. That's going to be, atmosphere there is going to be electric.
Actually, I was watching it the other night for Rovers Shelburne. That was a good game.
Oh, what a
Great
game
on TV.
What a game.
Well, we were just saying last night, what a brilliant product for advertisement for the league. It was great.
No, it was a cracker. It's the best I've seen Shells play under Duffers, and I've seen quite a lot of Shells play live, and I haven't seen every game. Duffers my concert to get me on that, but start to finish, I thought they're absolutely outstanding. Rovers couldn't live with them first half, and fair play to Rovers, they came out and found their mojo second half, but it was a great game. Second half, Graham Burke, Jack Byrne came to the fore. The football was great. Some of the combination play with them was brilliant. Shell's goal on the counter attack was as good as you're going to see.
No, it was great.
It was
2-2
great.
draw if anyone missed it. It was really good. I mean, you found myself watching it saying, geez, this is the future's here.
Dalymount as well. Dalymount, Bowes and Pat, same night.
Somebody's asking, how is Richie after Friday night? Sean.
Grand. Top of the league is what I am, Joe.
Exactly. He's looking down on everyone.
Looking down on everybody.
Someone's texted in to say New Trafford.
It's the name of the area, though, isn't it?
Communal bath with the crazy gang. Jesus, says the texter. Yeah, enough said. And Steve says, Kenny, Joe was saying, I wasn't saying this. Joe was saying that you were at fault for Tony Yeboah's wonder goal the other night. You should have.
Behind me back.
I wasn't saying that.
Heckin' psycho, behind me back, stabbing me.
There was Beckham
you're better
from the
than that,
halfway
Joe.
line.
I've told you about this before. To me face, Joe. To me, I can take it. I'm a big boy.
I think
Kenny has witnessed 3 of the
Rich,
best Premier
I'm
League goals
surprised you
of
let
all
him get
time.
away with that when I wasn't
I'm
here.
just saying,
I said he was
you've witnessed
involved.
3 of the best Premier League goals of all time.
Don't backtrack, Joe.
We were talking about stadiums.
Stop digging, Joe. Stop digging, Joe.
What were we talking about, Mick?
Just hold your hand up.
Leeds Liverpool games. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you that came about. We were saying, and you can answer this question in a second. If we say Leeds Liverpool to you, what game do you think?
You can't blame me for that Tony Yeboah goal against Liverpool.
Well,
Surely not. You're not going to blame me for that one as well.
I was saying,
wasn't even on the pitch.
I was saying the
Beckham from
Viduka
halfway
one.
line. Your fault.
The Viduka one. I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not going to bother here explaining myself. Yeah, I did. You're totally at fault.
It is true. I have gone on record before to say some of the greatest Premiership goals I have been. Directly and indirectly.
Party to. Do you think you inspire people?
I have been in the immediate vicinity.
Do you just did they get a sense? You know, fear can help some of you play well. They're like, Jesus, it's Cunningham. That shot of adrenaline. Do you think that's what it is?
It's only a matter of time before he's going to give the ball to me. He's going to hand it over.
So we got to get it moving here because Richie's prepared a news round, which we're ignoring. What great goals have you been party to? Yeboah?
Di Canio.
Di Canio and probably Beckham. That's probably a stretch. You just see me little quiff in the corner of the screen.
Were you next? Were you near Beckham? You do
no, I was about 40 yards away. But
we could sense you there.
Still add it. Yeah, obviously, at a stretch, you could put me in the frame, Joe. Clearly, which is what you're doing behind me back.
You wouldn't have closed him down, no?
No, my speed.
And what was the middle one you said? The Di Canio one.
The Di Canio one. The Yeboah one for me was the one. Oh my! I was behind him, like thinking I might get back and try and tackle him here in a minute, but he literally just whoosh half volley under the crossbar, about 3 bobble out up and down and crash into the rim. No spectacle, no kind of hot shot Hamish stuff that you grew up reading about. That type of stuff.
That was outrageous.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah. And as soon as he hit it, did you think, my God,
I was clapping.
That is
no, I wasn't clapping, obviously. But
well on, Tony.
There was a powder puff header about 2 seconds in the lead up to, I think.
There was.
For me.
Yeah.
But it was far enough removed time wise from it that it gets cut. It gets cut when people show the goal, thank God.
Yeah. And the other one is it the Di Canio scissors?
Yeah.
Outside of the boot.
Yeah. I've had this
and was it over your head?
Yeah. I've had this.
So you were out of position.
Yeah, I've had this Phoenix from the Flames moment with a few people just dissecting. What I could have done.
Oh, you were out of position. Oh, yeah.
Just no spring. If I had a bit of spring in my body, I'd have been all right.
But you have to allow for that with your positioning, and you didn't.
Exactly. That's a fair point. It's a good comeback, Joe. It's a good comeback for you.
It's rare I win anything with this man, so we'll move on. The news round is brought to you, as ever, with thanks to our good friends at Gillette Labs. And as ever, you can get the Neon Night Edition available now. Richie, where are we starting?
Real Madrid and AC Milan will discover their Champions League semi-final opponents tonight. The formers looks to be less of a mystery as Manchester City taking a 3-0 lead, take it off Kenny, into the second leg of their quarter-final away to Bayern Munich. Bayern line out with a couple of changes, an interesting one in defence. Jan Sommer continues in goal. Back four then from right to left of Benjamin Pavard, Dio Upamecano, Matthijs de Ligt, and against his parent club, Joao Cancelo comes in for Alphonso Davies. Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka continue in midfield. Leroy Sané, Jamal Massalia and Kingsley Coman are the trio that are in behind this time around. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. Sadio Mane is on the Bayern bench, that despite his record €350,000 fine for hitting teammate Leroy Sané last week. Ederson continues in goal indeed. It's an unchanged Manchester City 11 from last week. Manuel Akanji, Ruben Dias, Nathan Ake, they're back three. John Stones and Rodri sitting in front of the defence. Then it's a quartet of Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan and Jack Grealish in behind Erling Haaland. Elsewhere, a Milan derby is on the cards on the other side of the draw. Inter hold a 2-0 first leg lead ahead of their second leg with Benfica at the San Siro. Both games kick off at 8. And first place third tonight in the Women's Super League with Manchester United at home to Arsenal, and Brighton play Everton.
On the punching a teammate, even in your more robust days where there were arguments, I'm sure, plenty of the time, would there have been a real sense that, no, that's crossing a line, you just can't do that? Or was it all fair?
No, yeah, it depends on the individual circumstances. They're all different. Normal little coming together and if, a few digs thrown, just move on.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly. So it's easy for me to look at that situation and say that's a massive overreaction. What's going on there? Fine them 300. It's a man's game, etc., etc., etc. But if it was a case of Mane walked around the corner and Sané's back was torn and he threw a dig, he couldn't see him from behind, that type of thing, then the dressing would view that, that's bang over. You need to step in here. So I'm not exactly sure. But generally speaking, no, that type of stuff, I never heard of a teammate fine. And there was a few on the training pitch. It would have went off a few times, like, you know what I mean, and blood everywhere, that type of thing. But no, I never remember.
Okay,
the lads were generally like, no, that's it. It's happened. Let's let's move on.
Interesting. It wasn't a line has been crossed. You don't strike me as someone who was lose your temper and throw a punch type on a training ground.
No, I don't remember. No, I don't remember. No, on the training ground of that. No, I wouldn't have.
That doesn't sound convincing all of a sudden.
No, I wouldn't have. No, not me.
Who did you punch?
No, I'm trying to be not on the training pitch.
Yeah.
No, it's teammates. No, particularly, yeah. I mean, maybe opposition things like they can all get a little bit. Although I don't remember too much there either on the pitch. No, I don't remember resorting to that. We all get a little bit wound up on occasion, but generally speaking, I tried to keep myself in control. I always felt as if I wanted to be clear to me in my head between the ears. Sometimes you might wind it up a little bit on purpose and you buy into that madness a little bit, but I always tried to keep myself clear at the same time between my ears.
Rich, where are we going next?
I was never going to outfight anybody anyway, to be honest.
This is true. Jack Byrne could be set for a move to the United States. Charlotte FC have seen 2 bids rejected by Shamrock Rovers for the 26-year-old midfielder. It's expected the MLS club will return with another 6-figure bid before their transfer window closes. That's on Monday. Byrne's Rovers contract expires at the end of this season and they are away to St. Pat's on Friday.
Yeah, six figures.
It's no surprise.
A couple of $100,000,
You can see him doing very well at that level. He's a bit of a home bird, Jack Byrne, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but we're all home birds, Joe. But this football is a profession, isn't it? It's a good. I say it's a decent opportunity for him, but he'd be missed.
Oh yeah, and the league would miss him, not just Rovers.
Yeah, the league would miss him. Like I said, Jay, lit up second half the other night against Pats. But we're all different, aren't we? Some people might look at that American experience and think, I'm not so sure. European football here potentially. With Rovers, the league's on the up, crowds and all that type of thing, but it's a different challenge, it's a different environment. Some players might look at that US thing and think, oh, not for me, but he might be looking at thinking, yeah, I fancy a bit of that. So
still only 26.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense he could have done more in the game, higher level in England? Just like the technical.
It's too early to be talking at those times. He's only 26 years.
But
I mean,
should he not be in the Championship now?
I think he's good enough. I think he's good enough to play in the Championship, without a doubt. Sometimes it's just timing, things. I think in terms of the qualities which he has, his football ability, he is. I think he is good enough. Whether he sits at Rovers and waits for the opportunity to present itself again, maybe he's hungry to go and prove himself in a different league, just experience. I think it's interesting that never occurred to us. But that was conversations we never had as players when I played. And I played championship football for a large part of my career as well, and obviously a bit of Premiership. But never at any time was thinking about jumping. Whether it was Europe or America or just trying something different. Different experience. The whole thing was just never in the conversation. We were kind of very blinkered in our approach. You played at the highest level and that was it.
Yeah.
Basically, you never looked further afield. So that's changed now, isn't it? The game's kind of.
What would your American city of choice been?
Well, it wouldn't have been. I would have liked a bit of scenery. Denver, maybe Denver, Colorado. Okay. Yeah, a bit of Denver.
I never know what you're going to say next. You know that?
Oh yeah, lovely. Yeah, I fancied a bit of that. Yeah, not so much the skiing. Do a bit of skiing up there, do they? I think, but
they do. Yeah,
yeah.
Not like Manuel Neuer broke his leg. That was a strange move. You shouldn't be skiing as a footballer.
Yeah, but the likes
not mid-season.
No.
No, a bit of a bit of landscape, a bit of scenery would have done me.
I don't know if this is true or not. Somebody can confirm. This is from Phil the Teapot in Kells. He says, the old pitch in Baconstown near Enfield was the best slope on a pitch you've ever seen. From one goal, you could only see the top of the upright at the other end. It was class. Unfortunately, it's been redeveloped and is now one of the finest hurling surfaces in Leinster. So
that's severe, isn't it? That is a severe slope.
That is severe. Biggest problem with Old Trafford, says Richard in Portlaoise, who seems like he's very much in the know, is that the railway line running behind the main stand where the TV cameras would be, they have tried numerous times to get planning permission to improve that stand, but they are always turned down on account of the railway line. So there you go, bit of inside information there. And then I don't really know what this point is getting at. Hi Joe, don't worry about Kenny and Richie. It's a Northside thing. It's a peculiarity of most Northsiders. They somehow think they're kindred spirits. Maybe this is when you were ganging up on me earlier on.
I was trying to save your answer, Joe.
What's that? Was a bit of tone? Was a peculiarity? He says.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a bit of a dig?
Yeah.
Rich, did you take that as a bit of a dig? We're getting dug out here.
It's leaning more towards dig than compliment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peculiarity.
So where do you sit in this? You don't sit Northside.
I'm a Northsider as well these days. Well, like how long do I have to serve on the North Side to be accepted?
Just asking you because you know.
Well, look, how long do you have to wait to be there?
Longer than you've been there. I'll take that. Blow in.
Fair enough. So that's Jack Byrne. We'll see. I presume there's no word on Byrne's interest levels or otherwise, Rich.
We will know on by Monday. Basically, the coach at Charlotte used to be involved in the Manchester City underage program when Byrne was there, so he's kind of has a bit of a prior knowledge of him. And they were interested before, like when you left Applewell and Nicosia at that time, the one club that were first in for him were Charlotte, and then Rovers got back in there and decided to coax him home. But this interest is long-standing and is from a place of prior knowledge of the player. And I don't know. I couldn't speak to his his desire to do it or not. But just from the Charlotte point of view, they've been after him for a while. Yeah.
There's a text in. Colorado Rapids would have been a good name for a Northside Dubliner too.
Rapid.
So, Richie, do you want to look at me for? Do you want to bring us a last story or two? It's not my joke.
Kyron Wilson put together just the 13th maximum 147 break at the Crucible this afternoon. It came in the fifth frame of his first round match with Ryan Day. They have resumed and Day has taken the first frame of the evening, so Wilson now leads by 6 frames to 4. On the other table, Sean Murphy, the 2005 champion, has taken the first frame of his match with Si Jua Hee, and earlier today 2019 champion Judd Trump was beaten 10-6 this afternoon by Anthony McGill. The Scot will face Jack Lazowski in the last 16. Lazowski completed a 10-6 win over Noppon Senkem this morning, while 4-time champion Mark Selby ended the afternoon session with a 6-3 lead over Matthew Selt. They will be back tomorrow.
You're a snooker man, are you?
No, I was just thinking that. I watched a bit of it briefly the other day, and I must admit, kind of blew me away a bit. Some lad was at 146, Rich.
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah, consecutive 146s, was it? Yeah, but you forget the skill level of that. It's phenomenal, isn't it?
Oh, well, listen. What was your highest break in school?
Nah, a little 6x3 table or...
Well, even in that, yeah.
In me Mars, because we hadn't got enough room for the snooker, so you had to go up the wall. You know that one?
Yeah, you're getting a lot of spin on the ball
so
there.
I had to go up in one of the bedrooms, so yeah, that was about a 33, and that was restricted.
Yeah. It is a frightening level of skill. The Ronnie O'Sullivan-Hussein Vafai match on Friday might pique your interest. This is proper beef. Vafai has called him out. He said, Ronnie O'Sullivan, he's a nice person when he's asleep. Otherwise, not so much. And Ronnie has replied, don't rattle my cage. I love it when they call me out. I love it when they give me stick. It turns me on. They're playing 2 o'clock Friday. Now, if you're not watching that match, I can't help you.
So where's the history? What's the history between these?
Last year in Germany, Vafai, he's 28 years old now, Ronnie being his hero, he felt when he beat Ronnie that Ronnie disrespected him, that Ronnie was kind of a bit disinterested, just smashing poles around, and it really upset Vafai. So now it's war.
Beef. There's beef there.
Proper beef. Richie, thank you very much.
Nice one, lads.
Nice one, Rich.
Kenny, of course, is staying with us for the evening.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's cash machine.
Now, after 5 winners in a row, we have a rollover. So if you've entered since 5 o'clock Tuesday, you're still in to win. But you must know the new amount, which is €40,099.37. Text played 57557. Get your entry in by 3 o'clock tomorrow. Then across the goal line at Urco Stations, Barry Dunn will make the call. If your phone rings, answer within 5 rings. Tell him the exact amount in your own cents and the cash is yours. So the new number again, €40,099.37. Over 18s only. Text cost €2.50. You're playing across the Go Loud network of stations. Terms and conditions are on newstalk.com. Short ad break. We're going to chat some Champions League to Kenny next.
The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette Labs. Get the ultimate shave or your money back. Neon Night Edition available now.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yes, but a Joy apple keeps the sadness away. Crunchy, juicy with a hint of acidity. Get some Joya in your favourite store. Eat Joya, taste the joy. And with the Joya contest, you can win an electric car.
The National Manufacturing and Supply Chain Conference and Exhibition is taking place live and in person at RDS Simmons Court on the 23rd and 24th of May. With over 250 exhibitors, 150 speakers and 6,000 delegates, this is your opportunity to connect with the manufacturing and supply chain community. Speakers will focus on climate change, sustainability, digital transformation, IoT and Industry 4.0, supply chain, procurement, lean, pharma, medtech, biotech, precision engineering, 3D printing, robotics and automation and much more. Register for free at manufacturing